Hey everybody, so welcome to part 2 of behind the scenes on how Kia makes the Telluride. So in the last video, we got to go through and see how Kia tests all their vehicles. So in this video, we're gonna go visit the factory and see how the Kia Telluride is made. And yeah, so we're at the hotel now. We're gonna go grab some breakfast and then we're gonna head out to the factory. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, you guys, I just wanted to take a quick second to congratulate Drew and Mason for hitting 100,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel. Be sure to give them a follow, Car Confections. I have their link in my description. So congrats, guys.
Thank you. What a better way to celebrate.
So cool.
And
so
it's
cool.
his birthday. Yeah, happy birthday,
And it's my
Forrest.
birthday today.
Be sure to wish him a happy birthday. How old are you?
I'm 27. 27 years old now, so.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, guys. But let's go ahead and continue our way to the factory. So once we arrived at the plant in West Point, Georgia, of course Kia took us on a big tour around the facility. Now, unfortunately, this is the point of the video that you are probably going to be very upset with me, but Kia was not able to let us film certain parts of the tour. So seeing all the metal get pressed, seeing all the robots put everything together, all the really cool stuff, they would not allow us to film. So I do sincerely apologize. That is one thing I really wanted to bring to you guys, but the biggest reason was because they did drop us a hint that the next generation Optima and the next generation Sorento were there on the premises, and they were already starting to get the line ready to build those brand new vehicles. So be sure to look out for that beginning maybe middle of next year to be unveiled. So we do have that nice little inside scoop, but we were able to film once the vehicles were finished on the final end of the assembly line. Once everything is basically put together, of course, this factory builds the Optima, the Sorento, and the Telluride. So once they're finished, they do go through a little bit of a tire test. They go into a line. From there, they're actually taken out to a test track. That test track will test things to see if there's anything loose within the vehicle. They take it around about a 2-mile track. If there is anything wrong, they drop it off, fix it, take it around the track one more time. After that, they actually take it to an area where it basically soaks the car with tons and tons of water. So imagine a car wash, but way more water that's just constantly being showered on top of the vehicle. What that does is it lets them know that there aren't any seals that are out of place, that there's no water getting into the vehicle at all. Once that is done, then they take it to a line, and that's when they begin to do a little bit more testing, and then they finally ship it out. So it's very cool to see the process that Kia does, and they do that on every single vehicle. A lot of companies will do like every 3 to 5 vehicles, but Kia does every single vehicle. So I was pretty impressed by that. I also did get to interview a few people that work there, so let's go ahead and check that out. All right, everyone, so here I have Ted. He is currently the head of the Department of Quality Assurance, but he also helps set up the processes for quality control. And the biggest difference is quality assurance is anything after it leaves the factory. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then quality control is everything that happens here in the factory. So things that would happen like on the assembly line, for example. So since he did put a lot of those processes into effect, Ted, could you give us a quick summarized version of what the quality control process is on the assembly line?
Sure. So quality is involved with every step of our process, from the stamping of the panels to the welding of the body, the assembly there. We have team members who are in the process, making sure that the surface is correct, that the weld quality is correct. Same in the paint shop, we have a quality control presence there that looks for any flaws or any defects in the paint so that it can be a great perfect car delivered to our assembly shop.
Gotcha.
Now, the assembly side is probably where the larger quantity of quality control takes place.
Okay.
We have team members in the process. Of course, they look at the function and features of the car to make sure that the correct options are in place and everything functions correctly. We look for any flaws that could have been caused in the manufacturing, whether it's just a chip in the paint or a scratch.
Okay.
We want to find and correct all of those issues before going to the customer. But we also do a lot of dynamic checks too.
Okay.
Through our roll and brake system, we check all the functionality of the vehicle, the headlight aim, from the brakes, all the electronic systems, before we go out to our test track. Now, as you saw earlier, all our vehicles go through a 2.2-mile test track with various road surfaces, a skid pad, a hill climb, a lot of different features. Some companies only do a sampling, maybe one of 10 or one of 20 vehicles, but we do 100% road test of all our cars here because we want to find any problem that could possibly make it to a customer. Then it comes back in and goes through a shower test where we check for any possible water leaks. Then it goes through yet another final inspection and electrical check to make sure electrical functions are working properly. Then it's out to our inventory yard.
Awesome.
And then on to a customer, and hopefully satisfied and delighted customer is always our goal.
Yeah, exactly. So what would the process be if like someone saw something that was an imperfection and they didn't have the means to be able to, I guess, fix it right then and there?
Sometimes that does happen in the process. We'll find something that's not functioning correctly. And maybe it's something that we can't immediately identify the root cause of. So we have a designated area once the vehicle comes offline that it would go for any type of repairs that need to be made.
Okay.
We want to find and correct the process correct the defect as soon as possible before it continues to the next process.
Okay.
So we have areas throughout the process where we can check and correct any issues that are found.
Gotcha. So, because at that point, you would obviously have to figure out if it's something that happened just then, or if it's something that happened previously somewhere, and just make sure you find that root cause before you go on
That's
to the
correct.
next thing. Okay.
And of course, if we do find that defect, we want to make sure that other cars don't have it. So we would check ahead of that car and behind that car to make sure that there's no other issue.
Oh, that's good. I never would have thought about that.
Sure.
So I thought it would probably just be that one car, it's fixed, and then it goes about its way.
Sometimes it is, but we have to be sure.
Okay, that's good. Awesome. Well, Ted, thank you. I appreciate
Great.
your time.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So the whole point of this program is called Telluride Pen to Production. So these good people have seen and met with the designer of the vehicle, the interior and exterior designer. We've been to Harman Kardon to talk about the audio system that's in it. We've been to the proving grounds, beat them up a little bit, and now we've seen them being built. So when it comes to the Telluride, what for you was like the magic moment when you said, "Wow, this might be a special vehicle"? What was a good time for you when you thought, "I'm on a good project"?
It has nothing to do with the build, actually.
Oh.
I have a brother in Halton City, Texas. It's the mid-cities between Dallas and Fort Worth. So they came down, and I was test driving a Telluride, being on the launch team. I had the opportunity to take one home. They came to visit. My sister-in-law was sold. She was sold. I think they waited 4 months to get the Telluride, but they actually traded in a BMW for their Telluride.
Hallelujah. I love that story.
That was my big moment.
And just on the side note, we've actually just been collecting some data on what vehicles are coming in, what sort of conquest we're getting, and it's like 75% conquest as opposed to people coming from another Kia vehicle, and in many cases, BMWs, a lot of Range Rover.
Right.
You know, if you're in a Range Rover, you'd quite like to have a good warranty. so we're pleased about that.
Right.
And Kim, you said you've worked at a couple different departments inside KMG. Which I know you're going to say this, but what was your favorite?
I think what I'm doing right now, production control, is pretty much the favorite so far. Sorry, GA. I'm sorry, GA's General Assembly. I love General Assembly with all my heart. But after 10 years, you know, you want to do something a little bit different. And I want to grow my knowledge in the company. So I decided to make that move and change.
Do you have that kind of flexibility working here?
Yes, absolutely. I've been on a pilot team like Danielle. I've done a tort team. I've just been all over the place. People look at me as like, oh, you're over here now? Where are you going next? You know. So I've just been all over the place. And right now I'm just having fun with production control.
Good, good. Again, we're going to talk about the Telluride primarily here because it's the hot ticket. When they're around town now, I mean, first off, the Super Bowl commercial was kind of a neat thing that happened in this area. And then, and that was the way the world was introduced to the car. And the connection between Georgia and this vehicle is pretty strong. When they're around town, you get the thumbs up, or people, they know what's going on, right?
Well, and like I said, being on the pilot, I had the opportunity to drive it kind of like before it got released. So it was around Christmas time, and I was coming out of Kohl's, and a car jumped behind me. I was like, oh my God, it's Christmas, somebody's following me. But they just wanted to see the Telluride.
Is that right?
So I pulled over and, you know, let the couple see the Telluride. But I don't care where you go. You getting second looks, people rolling down the window, hey, what is that? And it's a Kia.
Yeah.
It's a Kia Telluride.
I mean, you know, you guys are automotive media. The Stinger obviously was probably the first real car that did that for Kia. Like, this is another level. This is what people don't expect from us. But I think the Telluride's just throwing that door open even wider.
It has for Kia's throwing that door wide open.
Yeah. How about yourself? When you see a Telluride around town, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel proud knowing that we built it. We're the only ones that built it that way. You know? So we have an extra sense of pride about that. And prior to the build, prior to me test driving the car, I was at the doctor just for my normal checkup. And he was like, so how's that Telluride going? You know, and I was like, you already know about that? Right? You know? And then when I did, we have a program where you can win a car for the weekend. I won that, and we drove it around. We decided we were just going to drive it all around Atlanta. And we were at the airport because my sister-in-law was coming into town, and we met this couple. And there's a Telluride inside the airport, and they were just looking at it and watching it. So we walked over, and it was like, we built that car, you know? And they were like, really? And they just started asking us all kinds of questions. Another couple of people walked up asking us questions. And everybody is really, really excited, you know, to get their hands on that car. Some people said they were on a waiting list, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Well, speaking of waiting and getting your hands on it, so at KMA, we're not allowed to order one as our company lease or anything like that.
Really?
What, you got one?
No.
Well, I think that's the same here. As employees, you guys can't order them, right?
No, we can't order.
That's a good, bad problem, though.
That's a good, bad problem.
Yeah. Now, I understand you particularly enjoy working with the Korean side.
I do.
And you just said you've been back and forth.
I've been back and forth. It's interesting with that culture and mixing the two together. You know, of course, with the younger generation of Koreans, they're more fluent in English. They're more interested to learn. I give you something a little funny. On our last trip there, I was on break and I was eating sunflower seeds. So one of my trainers over there, he wanted some sunflower seeds. I gave him a handful, and he actually came back and took my bag. And he brought me back some crackers. I was like, but it's something. I guess they don't have sunflower seeds over there.
I don't know.
So the next time I go, I plan on taking a sack.
Oh, you're going to be very popular, yeah.
But the different cultures, the meals, we try different things with them. They try different things. It's just, breaking that language barrier.
Yeah, I mean, over time, like 10 years, as you say, living here now, I mean, I'm sure there were some, just say it, uncomfortable moments because culture kind of banging into each other.
Right.
Does that feel like it's kind of all settling out now?
I think it was a learning curve for us, for both sides, you know.
She should have a job in PR, because that's really
Right.
You know,
Right.
we had to learn how to adapt to
That's
them,
right.
and they had to
Right.
learn how to adapt to
Right.
us.
That's right.
You know,
Right.
we you know, sometimes you have to take that extra step and that extra mile to know, you know, where the boundaries are, so that you don't offend anybody. And,
Right.
you know, we all here for the same
Right.
reason, for the same cause. You know, let's make it work. And
Yeah.
I think we did a great job merging together, getting on the same page, and we all knew what the common goal was, and we were able to achieve it.
And how about the Korean employees here that have now moved into the neighborhood? Like you said earlier, you know, this was a place that was pretty down, and all of a sudden there's a lot of Korean families moving in. That must have been a bit of a shock, or is it all nicely, you know, everybody's kind of blended to make a new family, huh?
Yeah, we got our Korean restaurants now.
Oh, is that right?
We starting to see soju inside the stores.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
You know, different things. You know that it helps us understand each other, especially like the noodles. We love the noodles.
Yeah, there we go.
So you know.
And how about what do they really enjoy? I mean, like fried chicken or banana pudding?
Candy.
Candy.
We love
Right.
candy.
Candy.
Any kind of candy, hard candy, chocolates. On my cart right now in production control, I just got it decorated full of lollipops and chocolates or whatever, and then come by and, okay, I have this, you know. They love candy.
That's a smart way to do it.
Well, everyone, that is going to wrap up this entire two-part video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look on how Kia not only built the Telluride, but what Kia does to build all of their vehicles. And I want you guys to comment below, let me know, after seeing this video, does this make you want to spend your hard-earned money on a Kia vehicle, or would you still look elsewhere, and why? But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button if you like this video. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all take care. Bye.